All right, today we're going to just go over the structure of the heart and its blood flow. So let's start with the structures of the heart. The structures of the heart include four chambers. The chambers are just like cavities that are in the heart that are going to be used to hold and move blood around. So the four chambers are going to be called atria and ventricles. And we're going to look at the heart as if our back is facing the diagram. So this side is actually going to be considered the right side. So this is the right atrium. And this is the right ventricle. A comes before V in the alphabet, so A is going to be on top if that helps at all. And the right side again, because we have our back to the diagram when we're thinking about this. Over here then, this is going to be the left atrium and the left ventricle, because our back is to the diagram and the atrium is on top of the ventricle. So I'm just going to type over here that we have four chambers. They're called the atria and the ventricles, and we have two of each. A word that we're going to use here is receive. Whenever we see this word, this atrium, we're going to be thinking about the word receive. Atrium receives blood. Okay, so the atria, they receive blood. The ventricles, on the other hand, if you check this out, the ventricles down here, you don't have to color this in right now. I just want you to see it. So don't color this on your diagram, but all of this over here is representing muscle. So if you look around the atria, there really is not as much muscle around them as there is around the ventricles. The ventricles are really surrounded by muscles, and they're able to force blood out of the heart. So whenever you hear the word ventricles, you should be thinking about muscles in some way. Often the word is pump blood, but it could be force blood. It could be move blood. It could have to do with the word muscle. So just in some way or another, you're thinking about the action of pushing blood forward. Okay, so the question is, the atrium receives blood, but from where? From where? Okay. The atrium is going to receive blood on this side from what's called the vena cava. The vena cava. You don't have to color this in yellow. I'm just going to highlight exactly where the vena cava is. The vena cava here, this piece of it is getting blood from your head and your shoulders, and it continues all the way down here, and that goes down to your legs and your stomach and all that stuff. So it's getting the blood from everywhere in your body. When the vessel goes up and down, you can expect that it's connected to your body. Okay, so the vena cava is a vein. Whenever we see that word vein, we should be thinking about the phrase toward the heart. Okay, veins bring blood toward the heart. The vena cava is a vein. Okay, and so it's going to bring blood toward the heart, and it doesn't have this word pulmonary in it. Whenever you see the word pulmonary, you'll be thinking about the respiratory system. We don't see pulmonary in there, so it's going to be connected to the body. So it's bringing blood toward the heart from the body. If it's from the body, that means that blood has just been used up. It just dropped off all of the oxygen that it had. So it is going to be deoxygenated. It needs to get more oxygen. It needs to go pick up some oxygen. That's why it's going through the heart. The heart is going to basically transfer blood back and forth from the body to the respiratory system. From there, it's going to go down into the right atrium. We said that this blood is deoxygenated, so we're going to color this in, and you should color this. We're going to color this arrow blue. So facing this way, the blood is going to go from the vena cava. It's going to be received by the right atrium. It's going to be put through what's called a valve. Let's talk about the valve right here. This space right here represents a valve. Label that on your diagram. There's actually four of them. Okay, so right here is a valve. There's also a valve right here. And there are valves here and here. And their job is to prevent backflow. Whenever you see that word valve, the word valve, the key thing that goes with that is prevent backflow. As your heart is pumping, we want to make sure the blood goes in the direction that we want it to. We don't want it to flow backwards. That would cause things like a heart murmur, and it would cause damage. We want really the blood to flow in one direction. Okay, so then from there, the right ventricle, the ventricle pumps the blood up and out through an artery. Arteries bring blood away from the heart, okay? And it's deoxygenated, so it's got to go pick up some oxygen. It's going to pick up some oxygen from the respiratory system. So this time we're going to see that word pulmonary. It's going to be an artery because it's bringing blood away from the heart. So it's going away from the heart toward the lungs. That means that it is deoxygenated. Deoxygenated. It has not gone to the lungs yet. It needs to go there. So that's going to be in this direction towards the lungs. It goes to the lungs. It picks up. Oh, and let me label that. I'm sorry. This is the pulmonary artery. You can see it goes sideways to your lungs, right? So up and down is your body, sideways is to your lungs. So it goes down to your lungs. From your lungs, it gets oxygenated. So we're going to color this red now. And it's going to get put in through another set of veins. This is going to have the word pulmonary again because it's related to the respiratory system. So the pulmonary veins bring blood toward the heart from the respiratory system. Now that means this is going to be oxygenated, okay, because we just picked up oxygen in the respiratory system. That's the whole point of this. Okay, the left atrium receives it. Okay, so it's receiving the blood. Okay, so it pumps in this direction. And again, right atrium was going towards the respiratory system. So that's one way to remember that too. Let's put that up here. So right side goes to respiratory system. Your left side goes to the limbs or the body. Okay, so now we're oxygenated. We're on our way to the body, so it better be nice and fresh and full of blood. It goes through a valve that prevents backflow. The ventricle pumps it with all of its muscle up, out through another artery, and that brings blood away from the heart. And that artery is called the aorta. And I just realized that I did not write the pulmonary veins here. So right here, these guys are your pulmonary veins. Veins, I realize I can only write that so neatly here, but you can see that anyway, like right over here, okay? So pulmonary veins is spelled like this. And this one coming out is your aorta. The aorta is an artery, and it brings blood away from the heart, and it is going to bring blood away from the heart toward the body, the limbs. It's on the left side, and it's going away from the heart. We also know that it's toward the body because it doesn't have the word pulmonary in it. It's better be oxygenated because it's bringing blood to our cells. And one more final way we know that it's going to the body, again, is because it's going up and down. The cycle completes after the blood is dropped off to the body cells. So the aorta brings it to the cells. Okay, it's bringing it towards the cells, towards the cells. And once it drops off at the cells, the blood is now deoxygenated. It has dropped off all of that oxygen. So it comes back in through the vena cava toward the heart. I'm having trouble writing this down here, but colored in down here toward the heart. It's going towards the heart, back into the right atrium to go get sent to the lungs and pick up more oxygen. So this cycle goes over and over and over again. The valves between prevent backflow. The right side goes to the respiratory system. The left side goes to the limbs. And that about covers it. So definitely look this over and make sure you understand that. And that's it.